All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is the MASH curve warp, which gives us a few more options for the kinds of meshes we can kind of place along this curve here. To get there, we can either go to MASH in our shelf, or we can go to Animation, Deform, Curve Warp right there. All right. So basically how this is going to work is it's going to warp a piece of geometry along this curve. So we need to first extrude this thing. That extrude. We'll make it, we'll add some detail. Make it long. All right. Let's add more detail. And then let's try a shape that it didn't let us play with before, like an A. All right, so I'm going to go curve warp, thing, curve warp. There we go. And we can see already that things are looking good here. So let's see, where is our curve warp? We can, here's our curve, so it's nice we can swap out different curves after the fact. We can do auto alignment. We can scale the mesh along the curve. Leave that at 1. We can scale the original object by going over here. Turn this down a little. All right. We can, of course, add a few more divisions to this. More fidelity. There we go. Oh yeah, I could just scale it too, but I don't like introducing any transformation if I don't have to. Let's see, where were we? Curve warp. We can spin this. We can, this is kind of awesome. We can kind of dial in the amount of twist, which is really fantastic. And what would be nice is if they let you kind of open this in a bigger window to give you more control, but I guess it's better than nothing. Yeah, so this is kind of all you get, but it's still pretty neat. You know, I'd love it if I could. Oh, I can. Yes, I can add points to this. All right, so you just have to find the right. There we go. If we come over here, add spots, and we can really dial in our twist. And reset it. Twist rotation. And here we go. Just gonna do that. So basically, it starts at 0 on one of these ends, and it spins to 720, and as it goes along the curve, it increases linearly. But we could also have it twist a lot at the beginning and almost none at the end, and all that sort of thing, right? Which is what's happening here. It's pretty great. Let's just reset that though. What else? So we can have it automatically go to the end of our curve here, like so, or we can keep the original length, which is nice if we want to have, let's say this thing. Well, I mean, it lets you kind of dial in exactly how long you want it to be. And just look at this for a second. There's so many possibilities with words and letter forms just with this one kind of tool here. What was I saying? Oh yeah, you can have the looking for curve warp. Here we go. Have the shape come in, animate, and then leave, right? So you can have it kind of come in, fly around, and then take off. Something a little dodgy happening at the bottom. You can also, if you want, change the curve normal. So let's see if that fixes our, yeah, that kind of fixed our issue at the bottom. All right. And then you can even have your own custom aim curve. So if I take this and duplicate it and let's go curve warp offset 0. And we'll turn off twist. We can have it point at another curve. So to do that, I'm going to drag this into here. That again, curve 3, boom, and then we set it to aim curve. And it can either be the UV, which is actually exactly what we want, and then by altering this curve, we can dial in exactly how we want it to behave, right? We're making like a little rig here, which is awesome. Awesome. One other thing that could be useful about this particular approach is, let's say we didn't want to have the end be flat, right? So let's just get rid of some stuff. We'll get rid of that. I guess we can keep our, actually we don't lose the aim curve for now. So let's say we wanted a rounded end. So to do that, we could create a cylinder. And in our pollen cylinder, we can have a round cap. Let's give it some divisions in axes. So when we revolve this thing, when we curve warp this thing, sorry, it'll still hold up. All right, so we're going to go object, curve, curve warp. All right, so when we did that, it stretched out the ends here, even though keep length is on. So let's see if we could fix that. I mean, we could always, if we wanted to, just fix it, eyeball it. But I think what might be happening is this curve is still really this big, and it's getting scaled up, right? So what we can do, if we want to kind of reset this curve, is we can go modify, freeze transformations. And what that's going to do is that's going to strip out the translation, the rotate the scale, and basically reset the point. So let's see what that does for us. And there we go. Now the length is this whole thing, right? And so that way it fixed the end there, and it kept the caps perfect. And we can still, of course, make this longer and add divisions and all that good stuff. So that's what's happening there. All right, that's the curve warp.